Hello, what's happening? Matt here with episode 4 of the EA Guingamp series. This is going down quite well with a few people, which I'm pleasantly surprised that I didn't think it would be doing quite as well. Because the Brentford series didn't do that well, and normally it's like the English saves that do better than the foreign ones. Um, but yeah, this is the next update. Um, this isn't going to be sort of a look how well we've done and look at this. This is going to be there's not really going to be any recruitment unless it sort of like creeps its way in there. It's more going to be a case of looking at the squad and the team compared to other teams within the league and how we're doing based upon that, because as you saw in the last episodes we needed a massive overhaul, and it's worked. I mean, you can see here we're top of the table, 10 points clear of Dijon, who got relegated last season. Goals wise, we've literally scored like 14 more goals than them. Um, well, maybe scored more, maybe conceded less, but this is what we're going to take a little look into. You can see Phaeton, who we identified in the last video, is the league's is our top goal scorer on 9 goals. He's not actually the league's top goal scorer, but we're going to sort of delve a little bit deeper into why the case of that is. Before we get started then, I'm just going to show you the schedule so you can see how we've got on, you know, just as a quick one. We've not lost a game. We lost the friendly game against Marseille at the start of the season, and we have not lost a game in 24 since then. It's great. We've been playing really, really well. I'll just show you the tactic. We haven't changed anything. We were using an inverted wing back role for Mello on stage, but that is sort of phased out now. We've had a few people leave and whatnot, but this is again, this is how we're going. Literally the same tactic as we started with last season. We're an attacking aggressive team. We run at people on that with a bit more creative freedom within the team. The goalkeeper is upgraded from Jensen. He is better passing, better vision, he's quicker, so he plays as a sweeper keeper, and the two centre backs are now very capable of playing a ball. So they are now both ball playing centre backs, which means that we can distribute to the full backs and the centre backs. Everything else is exactly the same apart from Fran plays as an inside forward, because the only left-footed winger we've got is this guy Lincoln, who we got in on loan from Everton, and he's not very good. Just going to jump into the transfers to show you who we did end up signing. Transfer history for the season, please. So on the outs, there was a lot of loans. We lost Jeremy Liverlant, like we said earlier, for 1.2 million. Any other noticeable ones you saw? Intef and Perio both go. Um, then a couple of more loans. Nikolai Larsson, not Jensen, sorry. Nikolai Larsson went to Cannes for 210 grand. Cannes got promoted. He wanted to play. I couldn't stand in his way. Florian Miguel, who was the left back that we signed. He again, he's worth like 1.3 million. We sold him for like 825. Again, a team in a higher division came in for him, and again, I can't stand in his way. He wants to go. Same for Brian Pella. He went to Monza. Monza are a really strange team on the game as well as real life. They're absolutely loaded. They are minted. Um, they are playing in the Serie A. They're rock bottom. They put an offer in for him that the board deemed acceptable, which is 1.5 million, which, fair enough for an aging player, and he wanted to go, so he went. Ngaboka, Bakoto, he went. Jesus Jimenez finally went. Josh Knight was one of the guys that we brought in on a free. We sold him for 300k. He played one game, scored one goal, and that was it. And yeah, who else did we bring in? We brought in a lot of people. I think it's just 17 people in total. You saw most of these. Bandinelli started the season very well. Roca is a little gem. Look at them attributes. He's a regen, I think. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if he's a real player or not. He's 17 at the start. Oh no, he's a real player. He's a real player. Okay. But yeah, he's very good. When because we ended up signing two strikers because we couldn't get Perez in, so we got PK and Roca, and I thought PK would be the starter, and it's not been the case. PK's actually ends up going out on loan now. Um, Other than that, we brought in João Mario for very cheap, 140k. He can develop to be a very good winger. We also brought in Lincoln, as I said, on loan from Everton. He's not done very well. He's got very good traits as well as attributes. And we brought in Maxime Prevost on loan from Gladbach. He was to provide cover for Badashile after Larson went. And that's pretty much been the tail of the tape for the season, really. We're not doing anything differently. We've not changed the tactic. We've not changed set pieces. We've not done anything like that. We have literally just cracked on from where we left off. And I identified it was a maybe aging legs, maybe it was just a lack of concentration or whatever. We were definitely lacking in pace. I think we've sorted that out now. And yeah, the team is playing very, very well. Just a quick one, we brought this guy in, Mathieu Goncalves. He came in from Toulouse for I think 800k or 1.1 million, up to 1.6 million. Very good player. He is now the starting left back. It's only really his heading and he's one footed, but he's a left back, so that's fine. But everything else was great. We picked him up doing the like the net tracking, and he eventually ends up getting transfer listed because he wasn't playing for Toulouse. So we snapped him up. He's a better left back than what we had. He's a better left back than Florian Miguel, who went out, and Glaude was actually covering the left back spot. You can see just on the face of the attributes, he's a better left back than Glaude, which means Glaude can then move into the centre because Lubomir Saka is kicking off, won't sign a new contract, and is wanted by Boavista as well as other teams. Um, so yeah, that's how that's gone. So let's just delve into it now. If we click on League Two and we have a little look, because we identified last season that we weren't very creative. We weren't, and we were conceding too many. So I thought, right, we need a new goalkeeper in. You can see Badashile has got 12 clean sheets for the season, which is the most. I think it was saying before that 14 is the most for the club in the history. He's a very good young goalkeeper. We got him from Monaco on a free, which is why I always pick people up on a free regardless. You can get some good gems through. Report-wise, I think they're saying he could probably be a League Un player, yeah, which, if you look, his passing percentage, clean sheets conceded per 90, and expected goals conceded per 90 are better than any other goalkeeper in the league. His saves per 90 is a little bit higher too, but his save percentage is higher, but his saves per 90 is lower. He doesn't have an awful lot to do, to be honest with you. There's been a couple of games. I think there was a game against Dijon, and he made something like 14 saves in one match, like proper Tim Howard at the World Cup 2014 levels. He was great. So he's definitely helped. Bringing um, the new centre mid in Bandinelli was just brilliant from the director of football. He is just far and away too good for this league. He's got 7 goals, 2 assists, an XG of 4. Player of the match is 3. He's completing at least one dribble per game, but he's a box-to-box midfielder. I wouldn't expect him to dribble through people. I'd more expect him to just be in the right place at the right time. His tackling percentage is a little bit lower than what I'd like. Um, but he's just been great. He's made one mistake leading to a goal, which is a bit annoying. But for £2 million, he's definitely done the job. And he's a more of a physical player than Gama was, which meant that we dropped Yusuf a little bit further back into the DLP defend role. And he had, yeah, I mean, you can see he's got 7 assists there. He's absolutely excelled there. His passing percentage is like 91%, but because he's a DLP on defend, and he's got these player traits about shooting from distance and shooting with power, and he tries long range passes. He's just a little bit better than Marin, who is a bit of a, I don't know. I feel like he's a bit of a joker in the pack. He's a very good player. He's a very good player, and I want to take him up with me to League One League One, because he's only 23 years of age and he can definitely develop a little bit more physically and mentally. He can definitely perform there. So, but there's a few clubs sniffing around him now, and a few clubs in higher divisions. But you can see he's not played much compared to Mchangama. He's literally started 4 games, and Yusuf has started 18. Um, Purely because Yusuf has played so well. Um, Passes completed, chances created, like Marin's not made a chance. Key passes per 90, Mchangama now takes the corners, which has definitely helped. Owen is still banging them in, he's got 5 for the season now. Asasui, definitely too good for us, but I'm going to try and bring them back for when we go up. I'm saying when we go up with 10 points clear at the start of January, I'm hoping we do go up. I'm really hoping we do. Um, uh, yeah, the only thing and notice. I mean, the episode for this is the future. Mattias Phaeton has developed very nicely. He, if we look at his progress for all time, you can see like his decisions, a couple of ones and twos, everything's going up. His pace has actually gone up. If you compare him to the last video, he was on like 14-14, he's now 15-15. His dribbling's gone up, everything's going up. He's performing very well. Um, but I just feel like there's something lacking with Matty Phaeton, despite him scoring 9 goals this season, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Um, I, I just don't know why I love him. I think he's really good, but I'm thinking it's something to do with like his teamwork and his work ethic and whatnot. I'm just gonna jump on the player search now because I've finally got a nice little table graph for you all, because I know that's what people like. So what I've done to create the graph, which I'll load up in a minute, I've basically loaded up all of the strikers or players who can play in a striking position in League Dirt. I've included um, our players in there too, and we've obviously got the view from back in the Brentford save, um, and we've exported it into Table O. So if we rate it by goals, so the top goal scorer in the league is this guy. It's Adrian Gribic, who I actually had on my shortlist for a little while, but he he just didn't fancy it in the end. You can see he scored 16 goals of an XG of 9.5, whereas Phaeton has scored 9 goals of an XG of 8.9. Um, on the face of it, I mean, you can sort of pause it or you can have a little look at this and try and drill it down yourself. You can see like shots per 90, etc. But, the table O stuff helps a lot because it's more visual. Um, I did notice, I spoke to a couple of the lads in the Discord chat. I noticed that some of the names are missing. I believe this one is actually Matty Phaeton. So if you look, it's 13:44 minutes. Phaeton is 13:44 minutes. So yeah, I believe that's him. So if we just jump into it now, you can see, so here's the minutes. The minutes obviously being starting from 0 and going to 1770 because Gribich has played the most minutes at 1706 this season. Actually, no, tell a lie. Moffy's played more. Oh, okay. So we're gonna have a little look then. So drilling it down, why is Adrian Gribich scoring more than Matty Phaeton, and does that necessarily mean he's a better player than Matty Phaeton? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna go back to the table in a minute, but if we look at Gribich, and I mean, they think he's worth like 2.6 mil, 25-year-old Austrian, wanted by Lons and Alves. He can play on the wing, but he's naturally a striker. Plays short, simple passes, knocks the ball past opponents, cuts inside from both wings. If we compare him to Matty, you can see polygraph-wise, Phaeton is more physical. He's definitely quicker, and other than that, there's not an awful lot different. I think mentally and definitely aerially, Gribich is better. So then if we go to attributes and let's just say they are both playing advanced forward. I don't think they both are, but it's much of a muchness to complete forward. Um, Attribute wise, you can see the finishing is pretty much on par. Dribbling, Matty's a lot better. Um, he's got good free kick taking. He's got much better heading and better long shots. Gribic. Um, Technique is the same. Anticipation and composure, much of a muchness. Decisions, again, the same. You can see they're very similar. Work rate again, which is what I identified, I think might be the issue, or what on face value would look like the issue is work rate. Grubic is much higher work rate wise, and obviously we know physically Matty is better. If you look at the stats on paper, total appearances 19 to 18, goals 16 to 9, assists 5 and assists 1. Um, and then you look at the stats again, goals per 90 minutes is 0.84 to 0.6, and shots on target ratio is 43% to 60%. That to me was suggesting, again, if you look at it on this, you can see goals per 90 minutes. He's on 0.84 is Grubic, whereas Phaeton is on 0.6 goals per 90 minutes. Shots on target per 90 is 2.32 versus 1.47, and his headers 1 per 90 is 4.06 to 1.27. So that to me thought, well, maybe Lorient are playing, maybe they play a different system to what we're playing, and maybe that's why Grubic is outperforming. So if we look at what Christophe Pellissier likes to do, he plays Route 1 football. His preferred formation is 4-4-2. So again, you click back onto Lorient and you click on their tactics, you will see that Gribic plays in a two-man striking partnership with this absolute monster called Tariq Moffey. 6'2", ticks all the boxes. Go back to my table below. Tariq Moffey's this guy. You can see headers won 4.56. He scored 8 goals. Shots on target per 90 is 1.7. And again, headers won is much better than Matty Phaeton. So you go back in and you're like, well, they play Route 1 football. They've got very fast wingers. Johan Visser and Bossigard, again, very fast wingers who can cross the ball. But they play Route 1 football. They're third in the league. And the amount of headers won would suggest that it's crosses. That's where they're getting the vast majority of their goals. So if we go onto the team overview, I mean, you can see this here: most points per game. We've got most goals. We've got most shots for. Um, we've got the fewest shots against us. I mean, we've really sorted the defence and the goalkeeper out. Pass completion were much better. If we click on pass completion, I can guarantee they're quite low down. 86% isn't bad, to be fair. It's not bad, to be fair, actually. I thought it'd be more. Also, best pass completion and possession wise, they're like 8th. Okay. Goals wise is that. So let's drill it down a bit more then. Let's have a little look. Player overview. So again, you can see Gruber just scored the most goals. Clear cut chances created. Mchangama is massively up there, but Quentin Bosegard has created 31 clear cut chances to 2 strikers that are much higher quality wise than most of the league. Obviously, Lorient come down, they got relegated in the playoff. And you can see that Tariq Moffey is getting the most shots off, as well as Gribic. So they're well within there. Very interesting that Osaso is in there. He does get to the front post for corners, which is really interesting. Um, what we want to look at though is player detailed, and this is what's going to show it. What we want to look at is the highest expected goals is actually Matty Phaeton, which suggests that the way that we're playing, the way that we set up to play, we're creating a quality of chance that Phaeton is scoring from and that he's doing well from, but he's not maybe not quite there yet. He is only 21. He's still got a bit of room to grow. You can see I've shown you earlier he is growing, but the mold of the striker that he is kind of what we want. Um, what are we gonna see? Where are we gonna find it? What we want to see is about headers won. Oh, here we go. Sorry, this is just, it's proving it again. So here's the crosses completed. Bosegard, cross attempts 284, cross attempts, cross completion. There's this guy as well, Ponciao. He's a centre midfielder, which suggests he probably plays as like a Metzala if he's getting crosses in, or he takes their set pieces. Um, it might be under. It might be under defensive because we just want to look at how many headers that you know they win per game. That's under defensive. Okay, then let's just do it back on the player search. But basically, what I'm saying is that I don't think these two particular guys, despite what what the stats are suggesting, I don't necessarily think they're better strikers than Matty Phaeton. What I'm suggesting is that they've suited the manager's tactic down to the T. They're both very physical. They're both very tall. They're both very good in the air. They cross the ball an awful lot from the looks of it. Um, Headers won per 90. Let's just pop that to the top. I need to go the other way, don't I? So headers won per 90. There's Moffy. There's Grbic. So headers won per 90, 4.56 and 4.06, as we saw on the table graph. And if we do just jump back to the table graph, you can see headers won per 90 is 1.27 for Matty Phaeton. So I don't think they're necessarily better. I really, really don't. I mean, they're creating a lot more chances because they're a lot more sort of positive on the front foot, and they're creating a good quality of chances for the strikers that they are. Would I sign these guys? No, because they do not suit the tactic that we're trying to do. They're both massive. I mean, I think Grbic is what, 6'2", and Moffy is 6'2" again. He's one to buy Newcastle. I mean, you can even see there, you can see strength of 17, a jumping reach of 14, heading of 12. But if you look at like the finishing and the technique, they're not as good as Phaeton. Um, and that's it. I mean, attributes do, it is important, especially physical and mental attributes. They're very important. But I mean, you're looking at like Murphy there. You can see he's the he's sort of the main guy for them attribute wise, but he's probably not as good as Grbic is. Um, but this is why I play FM in this way, in like this scouting and statistical analysis way, because it proves that if there's no one set tactic. It's the same as football in real life. Um, I had to suffer through a Sam Allardyce Everton team for ages, which I didn't want to do, but I've had to do it. Um, but I had to suffer through that, and he brought in players that suited what he wants to do. Um, and on the base of it, it worked, but it wasn't fun to watch. But again, it works. There's not one set way of playing football. There's not one set style of player that you need. Those two guys suit Lorient's tactics to the ground. Um, Phaeton and Roca suit our tactics to the ground because they're tall. Roca's not tall, but they're quick. They're very agile. They're very nimble. They can both finish. They both got a decent work rate about them. If we had the work rate of both of these even higher, I can guarantee they'd score more goals. But I'm happy with the amount of chances that we're creating per game. I think that's a massive just the just the bonus, because obviously we were scoring a lot last season, but we were conceding more. Um, so the way we've sort of counteracted it has been good. We've sorted the defence out. We're still creating a high quality of chances, but now we've got the guys who can finish, because Yannick Gomez couldn't finish his dinner. I think he got 5 goals all season. I think Phaeton scored 5 goals in his first 10 games. So, it is working. It does work. Um, if I was to, you know, if I was to sign anybody from this league, um, it definitely wouldn't be these two guys, because then that they don't suit what we like to do. Um, what we want to look at though is, like, we look at like this Ibrahim Nian. He's sort of like the middle of the pack, but you can see he wins a lot of headers, and his shots on target per 90 is very comparable to Phaeton. Um, his goals per 90 is not as good. Um, but I believe if we were to make the chances for him, I think he plays for Nets, Nian. Um, let's just have a little look. Ibrahim Nian. Here we go. Yeah, he does. Um, I mean, he wants to buy Lons. He's only 22. I thought he was older than that. Runs the ball down the right, shoots a power, beats offside trap, tries first time shots. I think Ibrahim Nian will suit us to the ground. He's quick, he's fit, he's strong, he's tall, he's got very good work rate, he's a good finisher, he's got very good traits. For that reason, I'm actually Gerardo Torrado's our best scout. I'm gonna get a little scout report on him and see what they think. And that's why I do it. This is why I drill down the stats and whatnot. I said at the start of the video it's not really going to be a recruitment thing, but you can sort of see the thought process that goes in behind it. As long as they suit your tactic, then that's what you want to go for. You want to look at that. I mean, you could go out and sign Lionel Messi on this game. Let's say you could sign Lionel Messi. He is one of the best players in the world, if not one of the best players ever. If FC Lorient went and signed Lionel Messi, he would not suit the tactic that they play. So, despite the fact that his attributes are absolutely fantastic, he would probably decline quite rapidly, because he'd be exerting himself more. And I know this sounds like really deep for FM, but it's that detailed of a game that he would genuinely burn himself out more playing the football that Lorient play, than the football that Barcelona play. Would he suit our tactic, Lionel Messi? No, because we play wingers too, and we like getting crosses into the box. Um, you could see it. I think if you had a little look at the crosses completed, was it on team details? Cross completion, Guingamp, 23%. We cross the ball a lot too. Um, Lorient crossed the ball a lot too. You can see crosses completed. We've actually completed a lot more, and we scored more goals from those crosses than Lorient have, which is really interesting. But I think they're hoofing it long and high, whereas we mix our crosses up. We've got guys running onto it. We've got even Little Roker scored a header. He's 5'6" and he's got 2 jumping reach, and he scored a header for me. Crosses completed 193. Against 186. Goals from corners. We score a lot from corners. So we do that, but we're not sort of resigned to this one tactic, which is why I think the table suggests it, and it shows it that we are a better team than Lorient, despite the fact that they've got more money, they've got a better. I wouldn't say they've got a better caliber of player, but they've got players that have played in a higher division, and if you look at the attributes, I mean, he looks decent at Gravelon. They've got players that they're more expensive. They're just meant to be a better team. But I think drilling down into the stats, and if you look at it on face value, we are the better team. If they lost one of Gribbage or Moffy, I can guarantee there'd be, I don't know why it's loaded up Ronaldo Freitas. if they lost Moffy or Gribich, I reckon they'd be knackered. Um, this Hamel again, he always tends to pop up on previous saves. I think I actually scouted him for the Brentford save. You look at him again, he's just a lump. It's proper Allardyce football that Lorient play, but it looks like they play it in a positive way. So it's always really interesting to look at these things. Um, where do we need to improve? I mean, improvement wise, we definitely improved on the fullback, bringing on Calvez in. That was priority number one. Um, I think if and when we do go up, it's this next position is Alexis Romao. His position is sort of up in the air in a minute. I mean, for 30, I think he's 37 on this now. For 37 years of age, physically he is very, very good. His natural fitness is 17, which would suggest why his he's still performing so well. His pace and his acceleration of 8 and 9 is still decent for a 37-year-old. Mentally, he's fantastic and he's got very good technical attributes for a ball winning midfielder. Um, if you compare him to Mandy's not as naturally fit and he's declining a bit more rapidly. Mandy will be leaving, I'm afraid, at the end of this season. So I've identified that we need a new um, defensive midfielder. So if we look at, I think we've got enough room for one. Yeah, we look at transfers. Why was that cancelled? Eh? Okay, well, we identified this guy of Kevin and Dorham. If you look at the reports, you might have seen at their estimated cost. They thought this was last season when they were in League One. We scouted them between 3.5 and £5 million. Um, he has now been transfer listed despite being the vice captain of Mets. He's played a lot of games. He's played 19 games this season, so it suggests that he's fallen out with the manager. Um, we identified him as someone that we want to bring in. Cons, he literally has zero cons. Uh, Medi, Eddie Mester scouted him. I trust Eddie. He's a very good scout. He found Glauder, he found Goncalves, he found Roca. He's found a couple of good players for us. Pros wise, his bravery and work rate make him a good team player. That's what we need. That's the ethos of the club. He works well within a team. Handles himself professionally. Enjoys his big matches. He's consistent. Plays in a few different positions, which is always nice. Which he can cover centre back or he can go further up, and he'll definitely fit into the core social group of the squad. Um, Attributes wise, I mean, but his passing, his tackling's good. His shots on target, which is decent. He gets a few bookings, but that's fine. We can handle that. And he's transfer listed now for 775k. I have no idea why this offer was cancelled. I have no idea. But anyway, that's the guy we're going for. Um, Shortlist wise, I'm just going to show you the assignments that we had them out on. This is part of like the net tracking part of it. Um, we had Carno looking in Italy. He came back with 37. Um, Demigo in Belgium, in both Belgian divisions. Eddie Mester's been looking in France. Gerardo Torrado, we sent him to Russia. He only brought back 4. Didn't really find anybody of note. Definitely nobody who was interested in a transfer. That's for sure. Who else do we have? Juan Pablo Angel back in Spain. He might have a full knowledge of Spain now. He's been there a while. Apparently, he's got no knowledge of Spain. Nonsense, this game it wants to be. 22 reports. And we brought in Helva Thoresen. He is a new scout. They allowed us to have one more. We sent him to Azerbaijan because we do it based on teams in and around. They're now one rank lower than the League 2 in the rankings. And he actually found a few decent little players. I don't know why he's got Dennis Bernich on there or David Babunski. The only thing I can think of is Azerbaijan played these guys um, in an international game because obviously we don't have Azerbaijan league loaded. We just tell him that he has to go out and look at Azeris. which means he's just looking at all Azerbaijan players. He's brought a few decent players back, but no one noteworthy. I mean, this guy, it's not worth it. Um, Again, if we were to change that, anyone else he brought back? We were looking at one guy. I can't remember his name. He was an Aussie. I can't remember his name. He was a defensive midfielder. But if we go on the shortlist, then so yeah, CDM we definitely need to improve on. I think we definitely need maybe a league and quality striker. So is Matty Phaeton the future, as the title suggests? Maybe. If he can become a bit more prolific, maybe we need to add more traits to his game. He's got tries first time shots at the minute. I do notice in games, because I've started playing on comprehensive, is that he drifts wide an awful lot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think that's why his shots on target percentage is lower, because he's not in the middle of the pitch. Carlo Ancelotti said um, about Dominic Calvert-Lewin when he joined the club is that he wants him playing in between the posts, because that's where strikers score their goals. That's where Pipo Inzaghi got most of his goals, was in between the posts. And this season Calvert-Lewin's flying. I'm tempted to sort of train Phaeton up to maybe run through the middle, maybe change his role up so he doesn't drift wide as much, and he's in and around the penalty box. I'm tempted to do that and just see how it goes. But then there's also a saying which is up on our wall in Finch Farm, is that hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard, and I think that's definitely the case with Phaeton. There's some games he sort of drifts in and out of. Same for Roker. They're not necessarily the most determined players. Maybe we need to look at that. Um, but I mean, definitely CDM is the main priority going up into the league in. The only other guy I was quite interested in was this guy called Show. He's just called Show. He's just called Show. Um, he's decent. Um, if we look at um his pros and cons, he's got a competitive streak and he won't fit in, but he's very consistent, good, committed, enjoys big matches, matches of philosophy. He's got good stamina. He's playing for Lille's second team. He's an Angolan international player. Um, I'm still thinking maybe bringing him in two, so we've got two in rotation, and obviously Alexis Ramal will still be at the club. I think he signed a contract extension, or he's in the process of signing one. The only other guy was potentially Tiam. He is playing over in Sweden, I believe. Oh no, is that Turkey? Altay? They're Turkish, aren't they? Yeah. Playing over in Turkey. He's tall, he's very fit, he's very physical, very aggressive, very brave. Got a really good teamwork and work rate, which you need in this division. You can see he was worth about 3.1 million when I first scouted him. He's now on a free transfer. Relishes big matches, very professional, full understanding, extremely brave, willing to work hard. He's ticking all the boxes of what we need. His passing's not great, but in the ball winning midfielder role, they literally pick the ball up, pass it off, and go. That's it. That's all they do. And he's got no international experience. His media handling style is level headed, and if we were to ask the agent about availability, he'd expect to start the majority of the matches. And he'd entertain it. So do we bring him in on a free? I mean, we're getting already getting Tiam, or hopefully already getting not Tiam, Endorum on a cut price deal. We could potentially get Tiam in on a free. Um, the only problem I've got with it is Markin's not great and his agility is not great. But the fact he's so aggressive, determined, and quick, can outset that. I don't know. I've not quite made the decision on him yet. Striker wise, I don't think they've really found me anyone who is of the standard we need just yet. I mean, for 20 years of age, this guy's decent. Um, yeah, I just don't feel like they found me anyone noteworthy yet, so we might just stick with what we've got and as I say, train Phaeton to play in between the posts. Have I got him working on any other? We've got his try his first time shots on. Trying to get him to beat the offside shot, which is fine because we do like the odd through ball. And then we'll train him to stick to the centre of the pitch while dribbling. I think that'll definitely improve him. But yeah, I think that's about it really. I mean, as I say, it's roaring unedited. You're gonna see the OBS. I'm gonna take you in the TARDIS now. Look at that. Yeah. That's pretty much it. There's not an awful lot to say to it other than we're performing very, very well. The signings we've made have performed very, very, very well. Um, it looks like we're going up, which is great because that's what the board wanted, and we are pissing money because there's no revenue in this league, so we need to go up. Um, we've identified that we could potentially have a striking issue, but we've identified ways around it. We've aided that based on this, and we've spoken about why Adrian Gribic and Tareem Moffi aren't necessarily a better striker than Matty Phaeton, and more that they suit the tactic. That ties into the fact that I think our tactic is bob on for what we want to do and how we want to perform as a club. Um, you know, if we've spoken about, we could potentially invest heavily in a world class player who might want to come to us, but you mightn't suit. So these are the things that you need to offset. I really enjoy this game. You can probably tell I'm quite passionate about it. I really enjoy the data analyst side of it. I really enjoy drilling down into stats and whatnot. And obviously, there's other benefiting factors and contributing factors to things in Football Manager that you've got to be aware of. But I'm just so thankful for the support that I've been getting so far within this save. Um, I've been going through a bit of a shit time in work recently, and this has been my escape from that. And the support has been getting has been very, very good, very therapeutic. It gives me my release. I love doing these videos. I'm loving the feedback that I'm getting. It seems like a lot of you guys are loving the way that we play this game too. Um, this is just the start of this save. I'm really determined to do what we set out to do, which is to become the best team in France. Really determined with that. Um, but I'm going to leave the video there. We'll probably come back at the end of the season and have a little look and maybe drill down again and see. Um, have a little look more statistically, maybe a few more tables and whatnot. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the support on the video. Thank you for the support on the series. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you want more. Make sure your notification bells are on. Please share it around if you know anyone else who is interested or might be interested in playing this way. I'm always open for a chat. You can drop them in DMs. My Twitter handle is the same as my YouTube handle. Um, yeah, and yeah, that's all, lads. Thank you very much, and please take care. Stay safe, and I'll speak to you all in the next video.